He's nowhere near top 10 British songs of all time. That's just
no. The state of radio at the moment is dreadful. Let's be honest.
I don't think he should be on this list at all.
Popdirect.com radio X and Sam Fender. No, it's nothing special in my eyes, but it's also a solid album. So
disappointing, but not surprising.
Right, hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Vocals from the Locals podcast. My name's Maciej and I'm joined today with Callum.
all right.
James.
Hiya.
Liam.
Morning.
And Luke.
Good day to you, sir.
Alright, so this is the show where 5 lads with 2 little talents to form a band come together, waffle shite, and give our opinions on music-related topics and current affairs. Not that anyone asked, but you know,
not
here
we
we
actually know anything about anything, but we'll just...
Yeah, precisely. And just in advance before we do get down to it, I just on behalf of all of us, I'd like to put forward a little disclaimer. We are aware the audio is not the best that it can be in our current situation and circumstances, but we do, however, promise that the quality will go up in the future, especially
let us know in
considering
the comments
that
down below how we can improve.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I guess the only thing left to say is how you boys doing in these tough times?
Hey, I'm not
I'd
bad.
fine.
It's alright. It's just.
I think we're alright. I think the lucky thing is,
I don't.
us lot, we've got Xbox. That's what's keeping us sane.
Yeah,
We do, yeah. We have realms.
Can you imagine
hours
what
a
the
day
people
to that.
at Wars are doing?
Oh, PC. I mean, they've got it rough enough as a normal times. Don't even want to talk about during a crisis.
You do pay a bit of money for them PCs as well. I don't know how you can do it to yourself.
Well, you've got no friends to spend the money on, have you? So, you know.
To be fair,
GTA
GTA
has exactly 4 friends.
Yeah, said James while recording this on his MacBook that cost him over
£1,000. Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Oh, I wish I was.
Sure, if that's a relevant quote. Liam, you have a car with a personalised number plate that you did not pay a penny towards, and you're drinking pints in his. That's how overprivileged you are. Got the easy life.
Anyway, Cal, so what have you been doing?
There you got Jimmy T who's sat there with a job. You know,
I'm a key worker, I'll have you all know.
Leading key worker.
Doesn't it take you like 1 minute to walk to your corner shop? Like the work that you're doing now?
It's at the end of my street.
Don't
get me wrong, it's quite boring. I'd rather do a 10-hour shift at my old job than a 4-hour shift at this one.
Yeah, but to be fair,
Corner shop.
I don't think it's an outrage because if I worked in a corner shop, I'd at least want some sort of discount on any sort of alcoholic beverage. Whereas James gets absolutely nothing, which I think is.
To be fair, he pays me £2 above minimum wage.
It's not
that's quality.
Oh, what a bargain, mate! What a bargain.
Yeah.
Expect that for wasting away.
That could be a lot worse. Also, I want to know what have you been watching? Because obviously Netflix is going to be a key player in this whole situation. Like, what have you been getting on or starting recently?
I finished both series of White Gold in a day.
Oh, mate!
I've watched that quality show.
Never seen it.
Great show, honestly. Great show.
It's got Simon
the
from
guy's wife is my dream woman.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with you, James.
Banging. And Sex Education as well. I finished Sex Education.
That's on my block's good as well. Have you seen that?
No, it's not. You're telling me about that though.
It's proper good. It's like some Mexican gang people and that in America, and it's pretty mad.
Yeah.
Well, going off the American side of television, to be fair, I've been James. You've watched Breaking Bad, haven't you?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, what I've been told is it's a lot better the second time you watch it, so I might watch it again.
I might do that as well. But at the moment, I'm currently following a Better Call Saul. You know, the prequel with Saul Goodman as the main character.
Is it good?
Very underrated, very good show, and it's just as everyone predicted. Everyone wanted Saul Goodman to have his own show, and it's turned out brilliantly for them. Like me personally, I think it's absolutely amazing. If the only thing that could improve it is if they had like English speaking actors, like if they had like an English equivalent to the series. Because to be fair, I tweeted about that the other day. I don't think it got much response. Or did I tweet about it? I don't remember.
Like the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly. I know. No, I don't. Does it heck? But
currently, at the minute, I've been watching Benidorm. I think I've got 4.5 seasons of Benidorm.
Elite show.
I must confess a sin. I've never seen an episode of Benidorm.
Oh, you bad man. You're a bad man.
I've seen 2 episodes, but from what I've seen, it's funny. Like it's one of those shows that I do actually find funny.
No, to be fair though, I've only had Netflix for 6 days.
Really?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I just thought I got it, obviously because it's lockdown and thought I'd go on then, and I've only watched Benidorm and
to be fair,
education on it. So
they'll be earning till right now, I reckon, from people who didn't have Netflix before but bought it because their stocks will be rising.
Maciej, do you get normal shows on your BTEC Polish Netflix? Or?
Oh yeah, got Polish Netflix on you.
I've never heard Simon Duxbury's Netflix called that before.
Well, so the way it works, obviously.
Shout out to Simon.
Big up Simon. But so obviously, the way that works is I'm basically scrounged off my cousin's Netflix. So there's like 5 different accounts, and she's got like the highest one. And
the cousin that lives in Poland.
Yeah, that's the one. And but no, funnily enough, when Netflix depends on where you actually
are. It's your location.
It is your location. So let's say if I was in America,
address.
Yeah, I'd have more shows on there. But because I live in England, I've got all the shows available to England.
So the Polish version of The Office and that?
Well, no, because I live in because obviously I live in England, so...
Isn't the Polish variant of The Office just the English variant with Polish subtitles?
Well, yeah, so pretty much the only difference is
Which you can get on any Netflix.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, the only difference is that I feel like on some of the films, like I do get Polish lecture and Polish subtitles on some shows that I normally wouldn't get, but it's literally every show. The preset is Polish language and Polish subtitles, which I always have to change in advance, but it's not too bad.
Do you bother changing it to English then, or do you just listen to them in Polish?
I prefer watching shows in English.
That's the thing, when you watch a show, I hate to take us away
from Maciej's interest in Netflix languages, but we do need to move on.
Right, okay.
What's everyone's opinion on the return of The Strokes? The album's called The New Abnormal.
Here we go.
I'll start with Liam Talbot. What does he think?
I mean, I can confidently say I think in here I feel like the most passionate about this album. I think it is an unreal comeback. Like the songs on there, such as like the Adults Are Talking and like Eternal Summer. I mean, that is an album and a half. I didn't find when I listened to it a single bad song, and I'm pretty sure Maciej, you feel the same.
Right, that's a standout song, Liam.
Pardon?
Standout song. Apart from the two that you just named.
Adults Are Talking, 100%.
One song.
I'd have to agree with Liam there. Quality tune.
Exactly.
Right. What about you, Maciej? Any words?
I'm going to have to go exactly with Liam. As far as comebacks go, this is one of the best ones that a band could possibly do. I'd say all the songs are on point with the times. They've not gone completely overboard with like trying to be different.
They stayed true to their roots, but it's also a bit experimental in places.
Yes, I agree, and it's the fact that the frontman's voice is so much clearer than on any of the other albums. The Strokes are known for having kind of like distorted sound in general.
Like the microphone sounds shit on purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Works, though. That's part of the charm.
Exactly. Well, I think I've told you boys before, like with Is This It, that came out at a time where there was a thing called the Sound Wars coming about, and everyone's just maxing out the levels on all their songs to get more attention. But yeah, no, definitely. I'd say they also nailed it with a single that they put out in advance.
Decisions.
No, Brooklyn Bridge to Chorus.
Yeah, that's my favourite song as well.
That is on the album.
Yeah, that's the best.
No,
song.
No. I wasn't disputing that. But what I was saying is they nailed it with releasing
It was
Brooklyn
the
Bridge
best
to chorus
choice,
just
really.
before. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
the best song, I think. That's my favourite.
Yeah.
Like the synths and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd say The Adults Are Talking, Brooklyn Bridge to chorus, and I'm gonna have to go with Not the Same Anymore. I'm a standout track.
Oh yeah, tune, absolute tune.
Fangers.
The weird
Luke, I know
one, what I'd say. Oh, go on.
Luke, I know you've not given it much of a listen, but like, what do you reckon what's your first impression on it?
Yeah, well, see, in the past, I must listen to Free Strokes tunes, and I've never really been too mad at them, but I actually did have a listen through of all of it yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like, it got downloaded. Like, that's what I'll say. It got downloaded. Like, I'm not going to say, it staggered me, and it's one of,
You can't see yourself coming back to it much, but you had a good time.
Yeah, but I'll come back to it, but not too often. But I did have a good time. I was pleasantly surprised, like, given what I'd really listened to off him in the past. So I'm pleasantly surprised, but not obviously. For me.
Yeah.
They're weird
James, what are you
Strokes,
thinking?
I think it's good, but what I'd like to say, they're weird. They're one of those bands, they've not done much during our teenage years. So a lot of people, a lot of our peers aren't into them and don't actually know who they are or how like popular or influential they are. But once you discover them, they're very good. And you realise without Strokes, none of the other 2000s bands that came after it would have probably not happened if it wasn't for the Strokes.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that. And can I also just say, like you said, not many of our peers will know the Strokes purely because Is This It came out at a time when...
Because they've done nothing. People find out about them now because they're putting music out again.
Well, yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And I think they've done the correct thing in putting new music out now in the style that they have put out now, because more people our age will start listening to them and will start coming to more gigs.
They need to announce some gigs first. They've got more.
I've got a question regarding that.
Can I throw a curveball and say, do we think they'll do a tour on this?
Yeah.
So,
I think definitely.
My question: where would they play? What venue?
I reckon they do the MEM in London, and that they do 2 dates in England.
It'll be about £75 for tickets. Won't be cheap.
Really?
They'll
Manchester.
They're allowed to. No, I'd say £75 is fair enough for the Strokes. It really is.
Yeah. So
it's like when My Chemical Romance's reunion gigs.
Yeah.
Realistically.
In my opinion, I think the songs I've heard, I think they're decent. And they know that when a reunion tour always costs a bit more because people's like emotional nostalgia is factored in.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, what we're saying then, out of 10, then you have normal
out of 10
Strokes.
Go around one by one. Go on, Maciej, you go first.
Do you know what? I'm gonna say, can I give it on two bases? On the basis of a Strokes album, I'm gonna say a solid 7.5.
Okay.
What's it overall? Overall album score?
Overall, I'd give 8.5, nearing onto a 9. I think it's an absolutely quality album. I just, it's just something different from Is This It? Yeah, and Is This It for me is always going to be the superior album. But as far as albums go in this day and age, absolutely quality. 9.
9. All right, okay.
See, I'm on the same fence. I'm saying it's a solid 9. Solidified. It's a 9. It's an absolutely brilliant album. Not a bad song on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Honestly, I've not stopped listening to it since it come out.
I'm the same as you, Liam.
I like I say, I'm not in too much of a position to give that good of an opinion on it, but I'm just going to go pretty basic. But 7.5 from what I've heard. It's nothing special in my eyes, but it's also a solid album. So 7.5.
Yeah.
Fair review. Reeves.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty similar situation to Luke. I've not really listened to it fully. I've listened to it once over, and I thought it was a pretty decent album, but it's not really my cup of tea. So I'll probably give it about an 8.
For not your cup of tea, 8 is generous.
That's based on it's a really good album, regardless whether it's my cup of tea or not. It is a really good album.
Yeah.
Them coming back from a couple of years off, it's good going.
What I'm going to say, it feels true to where they came from, but it also feels new and refreshing. It's catchy, it's loud, it'll be really good live.
That's going to be absolutely quality
8.5.
live. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
I mean, there's a
That
clear
means-
correlation here that we all think it's a quality album.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Overall,
But
it gets
Album.
8.4 out of 10.
From all,
I'll agree with
that's fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's a good album.
Right, so next on the agenda is the very controversial, I must say, Best of British Top 100 from Radio X that came out today. Now, first of all, I want the honest, I just want an initial reaction from all of you.
Fucking wank.
Awful,
Exactly. Precisely.
Shocking, but I believe it might have been a publicity stunt.
Okay, fair enough. James, what we're thinking?
Disappointing, but not surprising.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree with that. Considering it's Radio X,
It was voted for by the
X,
fans.
I'm not surprised that the artists have made it onto that.
It was voted for by the fans, and I feel like Radio X has got a very dark roots list in it.
They've got a very specific fan base, hasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, and that's why
Well, there's nothing wrong with Dark Fruits listeners, Luke.
no, but you know what I mean. There's something wrong with him when Jerry Cinnamon's getting as high as he was, but that's
This really says something about the listeners of Radio X, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well,
it does. Because I don't want to be giving out slander to Radio X here, because it's not them.
They've not decided it. It's the people.
But there's some fucking people that listen to that.
It does show what they influence through what they play.
Yeah.
What I will say is, although I don't really want to slew Radio X too much, because obviously they don't really have control of who makes the top 100. I do think because they've played and Jerry
They play the same songs every day. That's why.
Precisely. They've played Jerry Cinnamon on repeat for the last year and a half, and so you can't really be surprised at the fact that he's made it so he's made. It's almost not surprising how many songs have actually made it from the top 100.
It's not that though. The thing I think. So, if you only get 3 choices, how people? I can't see who's picking Jerry Cinnamon sometimes in the top 3 songs of all time.
No, that's nothing. I can't imagine the sort of people picking fucking Sam Fender. What's that all about?
I was going to say,
That's
Sam
the
Fender.
most controversial part of this all. How he must have paid them off some big money.
Mr. Number 10, Sam Fender. Fuck me.
Bollocks.
He's all right.
Absolute
Don't get me
bollocks.
wrong. He's all right. I don't
I
mind
don't
him.
think he is.
I think he's terrible.
He's nowhere near top 10 British songs of all time. That's just
Think he's a bit of a-
Say all about his
Wow.
music. We can all agree he is a beautiful man. I do not care.
He's a good-looking lad.
He's a sexy lad. He's a
Just
sexy
to
lad. Let's be
reiterate,
honest.
though, Sam Fender, Hypersonic Missiles, was rated higher than songs such as Dance Floor and 505 by Arctic Monkeys, Common People and Disco 2000 by Pulp, Acquiesce, Supersonic by Oasis, The Smiths, Rolling Stones. It was higher than...
The list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I Want to Be Adored, Roses. It doesn't stop.
him ranking over the big dogs of English music for the past 30 years, 50 years, depending on what
It
band.
doesn't make sense. It
It's
doesn't
just
make sense.
complete slander towards the actual good bands.
Yeah. It's a bit of a piss take, isn't it? But
If I was someone like Morrissey or Liam Gallagher or so on, who's been a part of these massive bands for years and laid down, what you've made in these
It's
past
like the
20
foundation.
years, and I read this list, I would be disgusted.
I'd be pissing myself. Honestly, Liam Gallagher will be looking at this list right now, absolutely pissing his pants, just kicking back with his fucking Stella or whatever it is he drinks, right? And he won't give a shit. He won't care, but he will genuinely be laughing because the state of radio at the moment is dreadful, let's be honest.
Like that station, they play Liam Gallagher's solo stuff more than they do the Oasis classics.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The
But
one
I
thing
al- Go on.
really offensive about this list is the fact that they've put Sam Fender on 4 times, and the Rolling Stones, how many did they have? Was it 2?
2, I think so.
It was 3.
Three.
Ones are up
Oh, was it
there
3?
on-
Yeah.
They're on par with the Beatles, for one of the best bands of all time, regardless of England or Britain. And they've got less entries than Sam Fender, who's only come onto the scene, 2 years ago?
Callum, I just want to say, I think you meant Led Zeppelin had 2. Led Zeppelin had half the amount of entries that Sam Fender
No,
had.
Led Zeppelin have 3.
Did they have, who had 2?
No, they had 2. So they did have 2.
Yeah,
They did have
yeah, there we go.
What I'd like to say is, can I just make a point? What you've got to take
Go on.
into account is, am I right in thinking it was online voting?
Yes, it was. It was through Twitter.
So the higher proportion of Led Zeppelin, Stones, Beatles fans are going to be older. and as people get older, they use the internet less. How many people?
That's a fair point.
It's more people our age and maybe even younger, 16, 15-year-olds, that are going to be voting on this on Twitter and Instagram or whatever it's on.
I think
the people who
as
are
well,
getting music and thinking Jerry Cinnamon and Sam Fender are the best thing that's ever happened just because it's the hit.
it comes back to Radio X though, doesn't it? And I said that I didn't want to deliver a bit of slander to Radio X.
It's just because they're current. It's because they're current.
Blossoms,
The
Jerry
thing is,
Cinnamon, Sam Fender, because it melts Sam Fender.
that just shows a lack of respect that people our age have for the bigger bands from back in the
Oh,
day.
definitely, yeah.
True.
Like,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, there are people putting out good music now, but no one really takes the time to look back at the old bands like the Stones and all that.
Bouncing off that point, Liam, could you just list all the bands that didn't
Yeah,
make it onto the list?
So this is probably what I believe the most controversial part of it all. And the list that we've got is that the Libertines, Kasabian, the Streets, the Clash, the Kinks, the Sex Pistols, the Fratellis, the Lars, 1975, which I know is a controversial one. You might like, you might not, but you can't deny the success. And who else was it that we had?
Foals.
And
Foals.
Foals.
Yeah,
Got a
Foals.
combined between all them bands of 0 songs
Didn't
on that
make
list.
it.
And I just think, and
See-
when you're looking at bands on there, and you've got like the Clash of obviously massive hits. You know, I Fought the Law. You've got the Lars who had There She Goes. Kasabian. I couldn't tell you in the next hour the amount of hits they have. Like there's so many.
It's just like even the basic ones that you'd take for definite for being on there. You know, Fire by
Yeah, like
Kasabian.
Fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Clash is the big shot.
See,
You look at
that,
that statistic that they all have 0, and you actually it disgusts me.
see, that sort of comes back to my point as well, Liam, because the Clash and the Who, both the most like two of the most influential bands of the past 50 years. The Who, with their albums, have paved the way for bands nowadays, and people
they
like
got
are
one song.
disregarding anything that they've ever done.
They got
Yeah.
one song and it wasn't even in the top 50.
It's crazy.
But I think
Man.
James does make a very valid point about a lot
It's
of the
what's
people that will
current.
listen to them.
Yeah.
Listening to them bands won't be voting on a Radio X poll. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and did give it 5 years. If Sam Fender and Jerry Cinnamon did nothing, none of their songs would make the 100 in 5
Like I
years'
say,
time.
Jerry Cinnamon's got an album coming up. I think it'll flop. Sam Fender is like, if he, he will release another album. I think that'll flop. I think
They've both got too big
wonders.
too quick, and they haven't.
Yeah.
They've not got the hype to back it up, like Arctic Monkeys do. They won't make as interesting a second album as they did.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
With Jerry, he blew up way too quick. He skipped the
I
whole.
agree. Yeah, he's gone too far,
He's massive. He's crazy.
See, I
and
love Jerry
he'll never
Cinnamon. I love
top
his
it.
songs.
He'll just come down. He's like Jake Bug.
Exactly.
With Jerry,
Liam, go on.
I love his music, and I've seen him at least, I think it's 4 or 5 times now in concert, and he's just, no one gets a crowd going like him, so I can't deny. I don't think he should be on this list at all. Maybe once near the 100 side of it, that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, see,
he is brilliant, and his success in such a short time can't be discredited.
Yeah, it's
But
good, but it's done. Don't get
He
me
just,
wrong.
I don't think he should be on it, but I do love the man, and he's brilliant.
Yeah,
like.
But to be mentioned in the same
Can I-
breath as the Beatles and, you know, the Clash and all that, it's just
Yeah, it's too early
disrespectful.
for that. Maybe in a few
Yeah.
years, if he keeps it up,
It's
then I
too
can
soon.
understand it, but
Yeah.
it's too early for it.
Can I just say
Competition.
also, we're basing it off the point, I think, the main thing that we're doing here is we're looking at a list that is literally labelled Best of British. Now, if this list was to be labelled something different, I probably wouldn't have that much of a problem with it. You know, which songs have currently been popular on the radio, whatever. Maybe that would be more accurate. But the fact that they've labelled this the Best of British songs,
Yeah.
this is the list that's come out of it, is absolutely dreadful. Like, I can't even put it into words how bad that is.
To not have Come On Eileen on the Best of British, you just put
Where's ABBA? ABBA are even British. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Feel-
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
go on,
yeah.
James. Go on. ABBA, you bitch.
Whoa, no swearing on this show. I want ABBA on there anyway. ABBA can be British if they want. We'll have them.
It's close enough. Close enough.
Yeah.
I'd say he's not exactly British, but it's close enough.
We'll claim it.
We're still in the EU.
Oh, they're
that's now,
talking
aren't we?
English.
We'll take him. We'll take him.
But yeah, that list is just
No
an
Rick Astley.
absolute shambles.
Where's never going
No,
to give you
no
up?
Rick Astley. Not a single Rick Astley. No.
It's just so like based off the Radio X. It just shows the sort of people listen to Radio X.
The thing
It's
is, we do
just-
say
it's not
that.
gonna
We do
get
say
placed.
it's based off Radio X, but the Queen, not the Queen.
I've
Queen
got the
got
best
6
analogy.
mentions. Queen got
Guitar
6 mentions
guitar
on
music
here.
for FIFA games.
But it's not like Queen, like a book. Like it's not like
Isn't it?
Radioactive Ram the Queen, is it? The
Yeah,
Queen.
no, I
Ram
agree
the
with
Queen. It's not like Radioactive Ram Queen.
Yeah.
The Queen, that's
No,
a
you don't.
podcast for another day.
But Queen still got 6 votes on it.
No, I agree with that. So it did surprise me, Bohemian Rhapsody at number 1, but
I don't really agree with that being number 1, to be completely honest.
No, I
No,
don't.
neither.
It's
I think
iconic, but
I don't agree with
It's-
people
it's
trying
not
to be
bad.
edgy and saying Queen are rubbish. Like, they're not rubbish, they are.
Oh, no,
No,
they're
it's
not
not
rubbish,
rubbish.
and it's a tune, but would I have
I
it
think
at number
they're
1?
overrated.
Definitely not, you know what I mean? It'd be probably in
like-
the top 10, but number
all
They've
it
1.
got some
takes-
bangers.
Top 10.
All
But-
it takes is to look at the tweet where they've announced that Bohemian Rhapsody won and the comments of that tweet to understand how unpopular of an opinion that is.
No,
And how
people are
many
never
people
going to be
disagree
happy
with it.
unless it's their song.
Yeah.
True.
I know, but the
Yeah.
amount of disagreement under that was beyond me.
yeah.
Makes you wonder how they get it, how they've got to number 1.
And you
But,
have to ask the
you don't ask
question,
the question to
Can
Radio
you
X,
choose a
don't you?
best
But
song?
you can do a better choice than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Best of British. I don't. It's a don't. Like I say, I don't want to be coming across, a bit wrong here because it's in my top 10. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd have it at number 1.
It
Honestly.
annoyed me as a song.
What I'd like to bring us to now is obviously we all disagree massively with the list. And obviously we haven't got time here to do 100 between us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around our individual top 5s and then we'll try and argue our way into getting a final top 5.
Yeah, I
for
like
the
that.
end. Alright, I'd like to start with Callum. What are you going for? Top 5, starting from 5.
So, for number 5 for me is Black Dog by Led Zeppelin.
All right,
I've never
okay.
heard it.
What's this?
I mean, Callum was going to bring Led Zeppelin here. It's, you know what I mean. It's,
They are
it's
good.
given.
Then number 4 for me is one that none of you will probably know. It's Little Red Rooster by the Rolling Stones.
Oh no, I know it, Cal. Quality tune. I can understand that.
Oh my. Oh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
the
Quality
next one. I know James will agree with me on this one. Boys Don't Cry by The Cure.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's a
One of
tune.
my favourites.
And then here at second, I've got a bit of a controversial one, to be fair. It's Love Spreads by Stone Roses.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Tune.
Slow
I
down,
like
slow
that.
down.
Tune. No. Love
Didn't
Spreads
see it coming,
one
but
of
it's
their
a
better
good song.
tunes.
And then for the first of all time, in my opinion, this is just purely on what I like.
Roll, please.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles.
Yeah, we're so respectful.
That's fair enough.
Respect to
That is
very
very
good
fair
song.
enough.
Can I just
Yeah.
emphasise that
Mad
didn't even
respect.
get in the top 100?
Mad respect.
That's respectable.
Yeah. Mad respect.
didn't-
Callum's done well.
Didn't get in the
Cheers,
top 100, that.
And then who
That's
should-
mad.
let's go for
Alright.
Go on,
Liam,
Maciej.
let's see. Oh, we're going for Maciej? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa.
Right, okay. Right, oh. So, number 5, you can debate it whether you want Fire by Kasabian.
Oh, do you know what?
Oh.
Do you know what? I'm surprised it weren't up there in the original top 100.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'll give you that.
That's what I'm going with. Right, number 4, Bit of Sweet Symphony.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll accept
Also,
that. That's
respectable.
quality.
Yeah.
Right. Number 3, and I think Callum will appreciate this, Columbia by Oasis.
Yeah.
Great tune.
I wouldn't
Always.
have put it at 3 though. But
It's a good. Yeah,
it's
don't know if it touches cloth, but I'll give it. I'll give it back.
It's more personal for me, I'll be really honest. But, right, okay, so here's where it gets a bit,
top 5 in it. So
I guess so, but here's where it gets interesting. I put Disorder by Joy Division at number 2.
Tune. Absolute tune.
Yeah. And then I put Resurrection at
1975. Give yourself a try.
Resurrection at the top of the
Resurrection
list.
Yeah,
yeah,
I put
man.
Resurrection at 1.
That's right.
Tune with a capital CH.
Yeah, trust.
Yeah,
Can I just make a
can get on
point? The
that.
second half of Better Resurrection is better than the first half. I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'll give you that.
That's a good point.
I think I've seen Mac say that in that chat before, and I can wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
It's quality.
All right, Liam.
Right, I mean, I'm just going to say this before I release my little 5. I've not put them in any particular order, and I have
That's fair enough.
say I have a bit of a diverse music taste as opposed to everyone in here. I'm not into many older bands such as Raw and that. You know what I mean? I'm not more into the older stuff as much as you guys are. I like a bit of it, but not as much. So you'll notice this every song in my top 5 is from the 90s.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
In no particular order, we have "Live Forever" by
No,
Oasis.
Yeah, it's got to be there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we have "The Master Plan" by Oasis.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I promise, as much as I love the Gallagher brothers, it does stop there for Oasis. We have "There's a Light That Never Goes Out" by the Smiths.
Very good choice. Very good choice.
We have "Resurrection" by Stone Roses, which I'd probably put at the top out of all them if I'm ranking them, but I'm not. Yeah. And then probably a controversial one, but 5th, I'd probably say "Common People" by Pulp, because that song just.
That's a very right, Liam. Can I just say? I know you said that it's no particular order, but if you really had to, what would you put number 1, and what would you put number 5? I'm not going to make you make the whole list. What would you put number 1 and number 5?
Number 1, "Resurrection."
Yeah.
Number 5, "The Master Plan."
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Fair enough.
"Common People" 4.
Yeah, I thought you'd put "Common People" 5.
I don't know about 3 and 2 between "Live Forever" and "Doesn't Look Like."
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a tough choice.
All right, Luke, do you want to go next or shall I?
No, I'll go next, me. So, I am in a particular order, 5 to 1. So, at number 5, this is probably one that not many of us will probably agree with, but "Figure It Out" by Royal Blood.
Oh, it's a great tune.
No. Luke,
number 5 for me.
Luke, can I just say I'm very happy that you put Royal Blood into this, because obviously I've got my own list, but there are a number of bands and songs that I think do deserve that top 5. Continue.
No, I do.
Royal Blood, if you're listening, we want the studio version of Boilermaker, and we want it now. I've been waiting for a long time.
Jimmy, if Royal Blood are listening to this, I'll give you a tenner.
I'll give you my savings.
Number 4 for me, which is also 10. Number 4 for me. Number 4 for me, "A Certain Romance."
Yeah. I knew that was in there, Luke.
Another one had to be up there for me. Had to be there.
Best Arts Monkey song.
Yeah.
Number 3 is a fairly basic bitch one. "Live Forever." It's going to be there. It's got to be up there.
It deserves a spot up there.
Same boat.
Number 2, "Resurrection." It was very close between 1 and 2 that took the top spot, but "Resurrection" number 2 for me. And number 1, same sort of wave as Callum, "A Day in the Life" by the Beatles. Which is
that's a very good tune.
My favourite.
I like how it changes. It's like multiple songs in one. The best bit is where it goes, "Woke up, got out of bed."
Yeah. Probably my favourite all-time song. Definitely favourite Beatles.
Can I just reiterate that ranked 24 on the top 100 for the day? I'd have never thought you'd have said that. I'd have never thought you'd have
for that song.
I done it.
By the way.
Yeah.
Luke, can I just say all of that, like, one Beatles album, like, should have been up there. Absolutely every single tune on there. I'm not even
somewhere up there. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, go on.
But anyway, go on, Zimmer. What are you saying?
Right, current number 5, "My Generation."
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that.
In specific, the little like bass solo bits in the middle. I just love it.
Yeah.
Probably my favourite
just missed
part of any song.
That literally just missed out.
Number 4, just I felt it'd be, if we're doing some of the best British, I had to put Beatles in. So at number 4, I've got "Dear Prudence."
Very good tune.
I like that a lot.
Spanner in there, mate.
Probably, that's my favourite Beatles song. And then number 3, "Slide Away."
Okay.
Yeah, great. I was debating to "Slide Away" or "The Master Plan."
Yeah.
Then now it's 75 and 8. Be with your Ned, mate.
No. They're not done it long enough yet. And 2, "Fool's Gold."
Oh yeah, I knew it being there for you.
Great.
Have you ever heard a groovier song in your life?
No, never, mate.
No, that's what I thought. And then coming at number 1,
probably
not many people agree it's number 1, but I'm going for "Just Like Heaven" by The Cure. That is my favourite song.
Not a number 1 for me personally.
I mean, I can respect. We can respect that this is a top 5 more personal than
But Can I just ask your opinion, Jimmy, on the fact that wasn't in the top 100 at all?
Disappointing, but not. If there was another Cure song to be in there, it'd be that. It's better than "Friday, I'm in Love."
It is Radio Wets, though.
It's more of a personal thing to me. That's my favourite song. It's the interesting question.
That point that the Radio Wets viewers aren't going to listen to The Cure, rather.
Here's a little question. I'll go around the room. If you were a frontman, who would you be? I'll start with Callum.
Oh,
that's so hard.
Good question.
Putting us on the spot like this, you dirty bitch.
I know, that's an hard question.
Right, hold on.
You can be a cross between two.
A cross between two?
If you feel like you're a combination.
Right, I'd be a cross between Mick Jagger and Robert Plant, right? Purely because Robert Plant was just electrifying and he had a mint haircut. And then Mick Jagger...
You're not a mint haircut, lad.
You what?
You have a shit haircut, lad.
I know, but if I was to be him, I'd have those curly locks and that. But then...
I don't mean his looks. I mean, like...
Oh, come on.
Personality.
No, let him have it. Let him have it.
Fine. Fucking have it.
Right, go on. I'll have that. Robert Plant and Mick Jagger.
Alright, I'll go to Luke next.
See, I feel like I'm going basic pitch here, but it's a clear Liam Gallagher.
We all know what's coming.
It's a clear Liam Gallagher.
Liam Gallagher.
Oh, what a surprise.
Not like it just speaks for itself, really, doesn't it? You know, you'd just be cool like
what it says on the tin.
The be all and end all. Couldn't really sing, but made a very good career out of it. So that's me.
Yeah.
I reckon mine would be a weird combination. I have the personality and the vibe of Robert Smith, but I'd look like Green Chatton.
I'm very. Do you know what, James? I was about to say if you mentioned Matt Healy, I'd snip your balls off. But I'm sorry.
It's bad because he's the worst Healy in that family, with Tim Healy being there.
Yeah, trust.
He's the woman of Benidorm.
If I was a member of 1975, I'd be George Daniel. He's the brains. But,
yeah,
we don't know what you're on about here, lads. Different territory now.
I know. No man's land for you, 1975 zone.
Right, Liam, do you want to go next?
Yeah, that's me.
To be fair, I'm a bit stuck because you put me on the spot, but I'd say I'm half Ian Brown because I can't sing for the life of me, but, I'd be there. I'd make my appearance. I'd rely on everyone else in band. But I'd still be known well. And then I'd say the other half of
like this podcast.
This whole podcast, I bet everyone thinking each Shag's Oasis. I'm just going to say for that. I probably would. But
it's just such a basic, simple but effective answer, isn't it?
Exactly. Like Liam Gallagher for the other half because I feel like I'd have most of my frontman persona based on my character rather than whether I can sing and write songs or not. And we all know Liam Gallagher can't write songs because he doesn't write songs, but
he's writing these good tunes, lad.
Lad, he doesn't write them.
That leaves us to
Maciej. Warner Bros write them. Right, Maciej, go on.
Right, okay, so obviously by now all of you know, especially if you follow me on Twitter, that I'm a little streets one boy.
Go on, drop the app, you little beg. Drop the app.
What can I say? But yeah, no. If we're saying combinations, I'd have to go for Mike Skinner for one, just because. And you can say what you want. I know James does it like bootleg music or whatever you want to call it. But me personally, that's the top. All right. Okay.
All right. Let me
listen, lads. We're all mates here. We're all sitting here.
We're all sitting here. We're all sitting here.
No, we're not.
I got one Newcastle. We've got an infiltrator.
Oh no, I agree.
This podcast is brought to you by SportsDirect.com.
Hey, you can't say that. We're not sponsored by Sports Direct.
We have no affiliation
with Maciej savings offers.
Right, go on, Maciej, anyway.
But yeah, so all right, okay, fair enough, James. But for me personally, I don't know. It's just somewhat about Mike Skinner that I quite like. It's not just the fact that obviously he was the main player of the Streets. If not, well, I think the Streets is literally just his cover-up name to to make his own music.
It's just
yeah, exactly. Well, for me, it wasn't just that. It's also the fact that he still does DJing on the side. He still works with other artists like Liam.
Can I go
Liam
off
showed
on a bit of a sidetrack here? That tune that he did, that like D&B tune with that.
With Chris Lorenzo.
Now? That's the one.
Chris
that's
Lorenzo.
Fucking mega tune.
Absolute banger. I love it. I love it to bits. But yeah, and especially now, if Liam sent me the track list or the presumed track list for the new Streets album, and I just have to say, it looks insane. For me personally,
it does.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we want to mention who's supposed to be on it now, or should we just save that for a different episode?
Save that for a different day.
If they have a song coming out with Idols, that is going to be unreal.
No, that's got to
put
be
your dick on the table, man, mate.
Yeah, no, that's definitely got to be mentioned, and it's the fact that obviously there was the Tame Impala tease on April the 1st on April Fool's Day, so no one was too sure about that. But I'm
no, that was on the album as well. That was on that.
Track
number 1.
But I was just happy to see. I know you might not know this, but there was artists such as like Green Tea Peng and Don Ayo that I've personally listened to that don't really get enough coverage, and the fact that the Streets are kind of pushing it forward, as in Mike Skinner specifically, I really have to respect that. So yeah, if it's a combination, I'm going to go for Liam Gallagher as well for the same reasons that Luke
it's just
that was long-winded, Jay.
Safe answer,
isn't it? Yeah.
So to take us back, we need now come to conclusion. Let's start from number 5. What's our collective number 5?
I think all of us would agree with I Am the Resurrection in there.
I think
I disagree.
That's a collective.
Right, wait. Let's do it. Right, okay. Let's do it this way. So can we all agree that I Am the Resurrection is in there?
Yeah.
I think 1.
Right. So I'm thinking 2.
I think 1.
I think 1.
Right. Okay. Well, all right. Okay. To actually change that, I'll say 1 as well.
Maciej, didn't you put it as your number 1 and then say
I did put
2
it
in the overall rankings?
No. But I was thinking. Yeah, go on.
Right.
Well,
2.
1.
Right, so we've got Resurrection at number 2.
No, Resurrection at 1, you mong.
Resurrection's at 1. Right.
I think 2. I think Live Forever.
Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah, I think Live Forever's got to be on there.
The sort of.
Oh, cheers,
Sergeant Pepper in 2.
Live Forever
3.
Yeah.
Can we have a bit of Sweet Symphony in there?
I think I agree with that match.
I don't think it makes it.
Really?
I'd pick Sweet Symphony for 5, I'll say.
I'd say 5.
I think there's better Verve songs, in my opinion.
Drugs
If
don't
I can
work.
have Just Like Heaven at 4, then I'll allow a bit of Sweet Symphony at 5.
Have we? I'm agree. I love that.
I'll go for that.
So
I'm happy with that.
What's your James that you just said 4?
Just Like Heaven at number 4.
Right. So we've got Resurrection 1, Sergeant Pepper 2, Live Forever 3, Just Like Heaven 4, Bittersweet Symphony 5. That's our top 5.
I'm very happy
top 5
with
best
that.
of British. That's what the vocals for the locals brought to you by James
SportsDirect.com.
yeah. SportsDirect.com, Radio X and Sam Fender. And also the Sherlocks for the balance. And then...
Oh, mate, honestly. Chasing the Shadows in my top 5.
Don't be temper, you dirty bitch.
Worst band
Song of all time, mate.
Can I just say...
Wait, go on, son.
Wait, no, I thought we agreed on number 5.
Number 5, Bittersweet Symphony. 4, Just Like Heaven. 3, Live Forever. 2, Sergeant Pepper. 1, Resurrection.
But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, we all slew the Sherlocks because, let's be honest, it's the most bog standard average, even below average band that could ever hope to exist especially on the British scene.
How did they sell out Ricky Warehouse? Why did I pay money to see them?
We've all seen them live.
I've spent about 60 odd quid on Sherlocks in my time.
That's what I mean. I've probably spent something similar.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think they were just, in my eyes, they were mediocre, middle line. And then as soon as they covered Stone Roses, that's when it shut down. They were average, maybe on the mediocre, a bit shit side. And then as soon as he started covering Stone Roses, that was it. They shot down.
Also,
you're ruining it.
Also, can I just say, for a band that has started fairly recently for what they are, they've gone very like almost corporate. Like if you actually look at their albums, it's very well designed. They're clearly paying a fair bit of money for like the album design and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Just a bunch of gigs, mate.
And like the marketing. But that's what I mean. It's not like they've come through.
You can't say they're paying for marketing. You can't say they're paying for marketing when they got a festival screenshot and edited themselves higher up the lineup and posted it on the internet.
That's a very good point.
That's not paying for marketing.
They're such a 14, 15-year-old band. Like they are the definition of like 14, 15-year-old as the first few cans of Copperbeard, Dark Fruits and things.
What I'll say
fucking
is
mega this,
they are,
mega.
The band themselves objectively are extremely shit, and I think I speak for the group here. We'll never forget them as long as we live, and they hold a special place in our hearts.
Yeah. My first gig.
They're only good enough to play. They're only good enough to play at the new Swan in Ratcliffe, I think.
Hey,
just about in the words of my dad, who's probably watching this, I wouldn't watch them if they were in my back garden. I'd pull the blinds shut.
I saw some.
Go on. Oh, I was just going to say, like I said before, I don't know if they sold it out or not, but they got a fairly full Vicky Warehouse. What year was it?
We were there, yeah.
Yeah. What year was
that?
To be
fair, that gig holds a very big place in my heart, that gig, to be fair, though.
It was 2018, that, Luke. It was November
February 2018.
But I don't know how they've done it. Honestly, it's criminal.
That gig was good, to be fair. It wasn't about the music, though, for us, that gig.
Yeah.
It was just the atmosphere, literally.
Yeah,
I'm being honest, I think I can say I've got the best ever first gig in Green Day.
Go on.
Stone Roses.
Oh, you're lucky, James.
You're
very lucky, James.
Mine was Sherlock, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up.
That is quality.
It's going to take this.
To be fair, my first ever one was it was Blossom's first ever big.
That's a Castlefield Bowl. That's solid.
Quality venue, quality gig, and I'm pretty sure they finished off with My Favourite Room, so I can't really complain about that.
No, it was Charlemagne. It's last
was it
one
Charlemagne?
before the encore. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I was about this for a first gig, boys. I saw Charlatans, Cabbage, Blossoms, and Cartinas all at Old Trafford.
Oh, you're lucky.
Like a mega day. That looked mega.
One of the best things I've been
It's
to.
the cricket ground, Luke. The cricket ground.
Same.
Not the. Nah,
too close for comfort.
Not saying 40
Alright, I'm going to have to bring this back. I'd like to take it back to radio stations for a minute. I'd just like to ask, Maciej, do you think radio stations have any influence anymore? And if you think they do or don't, why do you think that is?
Very interesting question. Obviously, as we've seen in Radio X, I don't think that's the case anymore. However, in my personal opinion, I've only just recently started listening to radio again, but very specifically, I started listening to Rinse FM. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that. I mean, I've not heard of it. No, that's fair enough. I just discovered it because I was, you boys know I'm into my DJing and the techno, my drum and bass line, whatnot. And I was just looking at like up stations that certain DJs like started out on, so to speak. And one of the DJs that I was looking up was Scream, and he started on Rinse FM as like a pirate station, and it just turned into like this one massive thing. So that's why I've recently been listening to them. They do their fair bit of garage, they do their fair bit of like up and coming artists, fair bit of techno, all that sort of stuff. So I'm
not too familiar with that to make too much of a thing.
I highly recommend it. The only reason that I've really been listening to it is because it's just easy to like. I don't. How many of you have got like an Alexa or like a Hey Google?
Yeah.
My brother's got one in all fairness.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I've just been using it for Hey Google, and pull up Rinse FM or whatever, and it's just a quality station to have up. So yeah, I'd strongly recommend it to anyone, to be honest.
Well, I'm sort of in the same boat as you. Like, where radio's concerned, I'd only really find myself listening to it in, like in the car or whatever. But recently, like through this, quarantine stuff and whatever, I thought, my dad really has been putting it on, sort of just through the downstairs sort of radio.
Yeah.
And like Radio X, to be fair, like I've been giving it quite a bit of slander, but that's what's been on. And honestly, I am having a good time. You know, it's nice to not have too much control over the tunes, and then something that you like come on and it'd be like, wow, this is on. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, it's just something about it. But I personally think like there's nothing wrong with a radio, and I don't think they're under any sort of threat. I think radios will be here for a good while.
Would you say that they're less Go on, Callum, you go.
In my opinion, I think it's a good way for people to find out about new bands.
Like, unless it's Radio X and you only play Jerry Cinnamon, but
I listen to Union Jack, right? It's a radio station, and it just plays like all English tunes, right? And it's like the most English thing you'll ever see. It's like comedy skits from like Only Fools and Horses and that, right? But they play loads of little new UK bands. And I've heard about loads of new ones that are just up and coming. And without the radio, I wouldn't have ever heard of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you get. That's what you do. You get like, you don't have the control of what you're listening to.
Yeah, it's just good for broadening taste, really, isn't it?
Streaming services are bad for that. You just listen to the same things over and over again. They're built to just keep you sat there.
I agree how it can influence small bands and that. But at the same time, I feel like the overall influence of radio is just declining all the time. So
Liam,
that influence on small bands is just decreasing.
Yeah, Liam, I was literally just about to say that, because what I do want to say is radio has the utmost potential to, like, you know, show off new talent, show off new bands, show up and coming bands. But
it's a business
is that what,
at the end of the day?
But is that what they're doing anymore? No. I've not heard a brand new band on Radio X in forever. I don't know. I don't remember the last time I discovered it.
Radio X, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I mean.
That's like one of the big ones, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's like Radio X. You know what Radio X? You've heard of Radio X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me.
As much as I slag it off, if I'm putting a radio on, I do put Radio X on.
Yeah.
I go for slag it off. Union Jack me.
Well, that's what I mean. I've just started going for Rinse FM just because I want something different. Or if I'm going to sleep, I'll put on a liquid drum and bass radio station on.
There's a liquid drum and bass radio station.
Yeah, on TuneIn. You can get an app on your phone called TuneIn. You can literally get a radio station in the world. Like, you don't have to. It's not, you know.
Oh, fair enough then.
But I know, like me, Callum, and Liam, definitely very big fans of the Ratings.
Oh yeah,
which is you tune into Radio X. Tune into Radio X, you're never going to be able to tune off them unless they get a bit bigger. Do you know what I mean? But they deserve to be a lot bigger than they are. The Chat is another one that I've been getting into quite a lot recently with their new album. You're not going to rate that anything like Radio X are big.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the argument.
You've
got your niche radio stations, which might play some newer stuff every now and then. But what it feels like is your main stations are just keeping the established bands there. And then you have radio
money, isn't it?
It's not because of radio. To be fair, Radio
right,
1, they play a good variety. I quite like it. They push some artists that you wouldn't hear otherwise.
Yeah. Go on, Maciej.
James, I'd like to agree with you on the Radio 1 point. Radio 1 does actually do quite a lot of stuff, not even in the aspects of like indie music, but with Radio 1 Extra, they're fire in the boost, they're rap, hip hop, they're
they've got a lot going on. And they're not in it for profit, that's why.
Exactly. And can I also just say, I completely forgot my point now. All right, okay, I'll pass it on to someone else. It'll come back to me in a sec.
All right, I'm going to say, I think we've had a good discussion there. We discussed the issues with radio, the best of British, what we think the songs are. Touched on album. Touched on a reunion. Talked about the frontmen. I just like to leave each person with one question before we go. Has anyone got any final words before I ask this question?
No, go on. Can I just quickly say something? This is for my friend. Just asked me to say this. Avril Lavigne is really fit, and I just want to stand by the fact that Avril Lavigne is actually really, really fit.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I second that opinion.
Things. Anything else?
Go on.
Not to objectify.
So I just remember my last point. Liam, you said obviously like if you do put on a radio station, it's Radio X. Have you at all seen an increase of them playing like DMAs or like any Australian bands for that matter? Because let's
DMAs.
be honest,
DMAs get played.
Yeah, they play DMAs.
Because with the rise of the chats and Australia actually has a really good indie rock scene, in general. They've got very, very good punk bands as well. Yeah,
Sticky Fingers, they're good.
Their quality. Yeah.
I think the problem is. Oh, go on, Maciej.
No. Go on, Callum. I'll finish my point.
I think the problem is with us, right? When you look at indie music, you don't really look outside of either England.
I hate the term indie. It's not a real thing.
I think we should stop. Referring to ourselves.
This is...
I'm not indie. I'm Dark Fruits.
Right, whatever.
Yeah. Hi, Dark Fruits. I'm James.
If you look at our type of music, people don't usually tend to look at bands from places like Australia because you don't really know any big bands from there. So it sort of gets looked over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you obviously prefer a band local to you, wouldn't you? It's just something about it, isn't it? That
it's like Twisted Wheel.
Yeah.
Because they're very much local. They're Oldham. They're about half an hour on my bike away from me. I'd call it.
Yeah. Do you want a fun fact about Twisted Wheel? My uncle's been a drum tech for them. No,
yeah. Oh, fair play. I love Bod, mate. Absolutely love Bod. But yeah, go on. I think we'll let James.
Please finish it up. All right. So, ask you a simple question to finish it off, and I'll bring a different one of these every time. Just a simple one.
Oh, exciting.
As simple as that. Can or bottle? Maciej, go.
Can or bottle what?
Can or bottle?
Stella.
Can or bottle? But the question.
No drink.
The question is
drink.
can or bottle.
I'm going bottle.
Can or bottle?
I'm going bottle. Yeah.
Luke?
I'm going to go bottle because bottle also includes like a bottle of Coke. Like, you know, like them glass bottles of Coke in the pub?
They're elite.
Nice and a can.
No, they're elite.
Yeah.
So, all factors, probably bottle.
Liam?
Can. 100%. I'll die with a can over choosing a bottle.
Callum?
Can purely for the fact that you can buy a pint can and you can't buy a pint bottle.
Yes.
Really?
You can buy 660ml bottles. And massive alky ones. You're one of a kind.
You can buy
if you go bowling,
bottles
it's a different
Strongbow.
story.
What's your point, boys?
Big bottle of white lightning.
Go on, Jimmy. What are you saying?
I'm saying can. On that completely boring and pointless note,
let us know down below.
Let us know.
Can or
can.
Yeah, I'm being honest. If any of you are actually still watching to the end, I'd really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it.
Telling us can or bottle. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, just going off what the boys are saying, all of us have probably the biggest like interactions on Twitter, or that's where we're most likely to actually interact and put stuff out and any information about this podcast if you actually have got this far, which I'm doubting, but you can be optimistic.
No, I reckon my dad's still watching. Hey, Dad.
Kev.
I mean,
What the Kev?
Has Kev got anything to say? Can we get anything off Kev?
I'm on.
I'd say my parents are watching, but they probably don't understand it. But we move.
Oh, I'd also like to pop the Snapchat out there in case any lovely ladies want to get on it. So Luke 603.
And if you ever feel like cheating on him, feel free.
It happens all the time. It's completely natural thing. I won't take it to heart. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
on that note, thanks everyone for listening.
Been a pleasure, everyone. Been a pleasure.
It went okay.
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Right.
Cheers, boys.
Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Tune in next
everyone.
week for Jerry Cinnamon's new album.
Yeah.